Verneuil re-entered the cabinet, returning in a few seconds. "Enter, sir," said he. The young man appeared on the threshold of the minister's closet, in one hand holding his hat, in the other the letter. Mazarin rose. "Have you, sir," asked he, "a letter accrediting you to me?" "There it is." "My lord," said the young man. Mazarin took the letter and read it thus: "Mr. Mordaunt, one of my secretaries, will remit this letter of introduction to his Eminence, the Cardinal Mazarin, in Paris. He is also the bearer of a second confidential epistle for his Eminence, Oliver Cromwell." "Very well, Monsieur Mordaunt," said Mazarin. "Give me this second letter and sit down." The young man drew from his pocket a second letter, presented it to the cardinal, and took his seat. The cardinal, however, did not unseal the letter at once, but continued to turn it again and again in his hand. Then, in accordance with his usual custom, and judging from experience that few people could hide anything from him when he began to question them, fixing his eyes upon them at the same time, he thus addressed the messenger: "You are very young, Monsieur Mordaunt, for this difficult task of ambassador, in which the oldest diplomatists often fail. My lord, I am 23 years of age, but your Eminence is mistaken in saying that I am young. I am older than your Eminence, although I possess not your wisdom. Years of suffering, in my opinion, count double, and I have suffered for 20 years. Ah, yes, I understand," said Mazarin. "Want of fortune, perhaps. You are poor, are you not?" Then he added to himself, "These English revolutionists are all beggars and ill-bred. My lord, I ought to have a fortune of 6 millions, but it has been taken from me." "You are not, then, a man of the people," said Mazarin, astonished. "If I bore my proper title I should be a lord. If I bore my name you would have heard one of the most illustrious names of England." "What is your name, then?" asked Mazarin. "My name is Mordaunt," replied the young man, bowing. Mazarin now understood that Cromwell's envoy desired to retain his incognito. He was silent for an instant, and during that time he scanned the young man even more attentively than he had done at first. The messenger was unmoved. "Devil take these Puritans," said Mazarin aside, "they are carved from granite." Then he added aloud, "But you have relations left you." "I have one remaining. 3 times I presented myself to ask his support, and 3 times he ordered his servants to turn me away." "Oh, mon Dieu, my dear Mr. Mordaunt," said Mazarin, hoping by a display of affected pity to catch the young man in a snare, "how extremely your history interests me. You know not, then, anything of your birth. You have never seen your mother." "Yes, my lord, she came 3 times, whilst I was a child, to my nurse's house. I remember the last time. She came as well as if it were today." "You have a good memory," said Mazarin. "Oh yes, my lord," said the young man, with such peculiar emphasis that the cardinal felt a shudder run through every vein. "And who brought you up?" "A French nurse, who sent me away when I was 5 years old, because no one paid her for me, telling me the name of a relation of whom she had heard my mother often speak. What became of you? As I was weeping and begging on the high road, a minister from Kingston took me in, instructed me in the Calvinistic faith, taught me all he knew himself, and aided me in my researches after my family. And these researches were fruitless. Chance did everything. You discovered what had become of your mother. I learned that she had been assassinated by my relation, aided by 4 friends, but I was already aware that I had been robbed of my wealth and degraded from my nobility by King Charles I. Oh, I now understand why you are in the service of Cromwell. You hate the king." "Yes, my lord, I hate him," said the young man. Mazarin marked with surprise the diabolical expression with which the young man uttered these words. Just as, ordinarily, faces are coloured by blood, his face seemed dyed by hatred, and became livid. "Your history is a terrible one, Mr. Mordaunt, and touches me keenly, but happily for you, you serve an all-powerful master. He ought to aid you in your search. We have so many means of gaining information. My lord, to a well-bred dog it is only necessary to show one end of a track, he is certain to reach the other. But this relation you mentioned, do you wish me to speak to him?" said Mazarin, who was anxious to make a friend about Cromwell's person. "Thanks, my lord, I will speak to him myself. He will treat me better the next time I see him. You have the means, then, of touching him